up in your lunch math industry, and we are gonna be learning about trigonometry word problems. So in the last video, we've been taking a look at sine, cosine, tangent, but also with the angles involved. But the math does not change. The only thing that we're gonna learn now is how to apply real-world situations with sine, cosine, tangent. So let's get started. We have two problems. This is our first one. Bowser creates a giant tower near Party Island. And he sees Mario at the bottom, ready to attack. Bowser's angle of depression is 34 degrees, while Mario is away from the tower 285 feet. Find the height of Bowser's tower. What we're gonna do is use sine, cosine, tangent with this one. But hang on, what does the phrase angle of depression even mean? Well, to put things into a perspective, we kind of have to do a little bit of drawing. So here's what's going to happen. Say that you are on the top of a building right here. Let's say this is going to be the top of your school. This is the air vent, and this is you. The thing is, what you see is, if you look ahead, it's going to go ahead. Literally. You're gonna look straight forward ahead. That sounds kind of boring. What you also see is, on the ground a little tiny flower pot. So let's say this is the flower pot and this is the flower. That is going to be right here, but you're looking at some kind of angle because this building that you're on is going to be 90 degrees on the bottom, and also this plant is also right there as well. This is a 90-degree angle. And if you are looking at the plant, it creates the hypotenuse of the triangle. And the thing is, this right here is going to be the angle to the plant. Or to put things in another perspective, if you go from here to here, it's basically the same thing. Because this is a line right there, and the ground is a line. If you look straight, it's going to be parallel with this ground on the bottom. So all you did is move from straight and look down at the plant. But these two angles are going to be congruent to each other. So this is going to be called right here, and right there, the angle of depression when you look down at something. There's actually another mathematical definition. Instead of calling it the angle of depression, if you look up instead, it's going to be called the angle of elevation. So right here is going to be angle of elevation when you look up. So say you wanted to look at the sun, which is probably not a good idea. So yeah, that is going to represent the angle of elevation. So going back to the problem, we still have to do a little bit of the drawing. So it says, Bowser creates a giant tower that is near Party Island. The thing is, if he's on top of that so-called tower, let's say he's like right here, if he is on that tower, he's going to look 34 degrees. So we're gonna make this right here Mario, which is right here. Like, yeah, Mario! Like, let's go! Let's say this is Mario. This is 34 degrees. If I look forward, or if Bowser looks forward, this is also 34 degrees. But also know that this is gonna be a right triangle, and the distance from Mario to the tower is going to be 285 feet. What we have to do is find the height of Bowser's tower. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to say SOHCAHTOA. So if you look at the picture, what we have is we want to find what X is, Bowser's height of the tower. And we have this right here. And we have 34 degrees. What's going to happen is we have to use the tangent of TOA, because it's going to be the opposite, the opposite divided by the adjacent. Going back here, we have to find the tangent of 34 degrees. That has to equal x divided by 285. The reason why we did that is we had to find x, which is the height, and 285 feet is the adjacent line. So we have to find the tangent of 34 degrees. Use the calculator. So we're going to say the tangent of 34, and we get this. So we're going to say 0.6745 is going to equal x over 285. So what are we going to do next? Well, what we have to do is multiply this side by 285 and multiply this side by 285, and we are going to get our x. But x is going to be around, because remember, doing SOHCAHTOA and trigonometry is not 100% accurate. So we're going to say 0.6745 multiply by 285, and we should get 192.23 feet. So 192.23 feet. Answers may vary, but they could be like 190, 191, 192, at most 193. It depends on what decimals that you use. The more decimals you use, the more accurate your answer is. But remember, this is not 100% accurate. Answers may vary. So it turns out that Bowser's tower has to be 192.23 feet, or around that dimensions. We have figured out how to do sine, cosine, tangent on finding the length of a triangle in a word problem. But what if we go to our next word problem? Oh! A Chinese emperor looks down and sees a croaking frog. He is 170 centimeters tall and stands 60 centimeters away from the frog. Calculate the angle of depression. So here's what's going to happen. We have a Chinese emperor who is very, very happy. And what we have is he stands 170 centimeters tall. The thing is, the frog that he's looking down on is going to be 60 centimeters. And his eyes, let's say his eyes are like right here, is gonna be looking at the frog that's croaking. Ribbit. So what we have to do is find this right here. Find what x is. The angle of depression. So let's get started. Let's go back to SOHCAHTOA. And what can we use to find SOHCAHTOA? We have the adjacent and the opposite again. And we have that right angle. So we are going to use the tangent again. We're not going to show you all the different scenarios, because when you use sine, cosine, tangent, the whole physics part of it still works the same. The logical part still works the same. The only change is deciding how to make the picture, but also executing the math the same way. So we're going to say we have to do the tangent. But the problem is the tangent of x, what? Because we have no idea what theta or that degrees is. It's going to be equal to opposite divided by adjacent. So we're going to say 170 divided by 60. But we're not done yet. We have to then change it to what we did last time in the last episode. So we are going to divide this by the tangent. Divide this by the tangent. If I change it, then x has to somehow be around the tangent of -1, because we made it into some kind of 1 over tangent fraction. Then we have to multiply normally by 170 divided by 60. So let's take a look on our calculator. So our calculator right here. We are going to say the second, because that changes the tangent into a -1, is going to equal, or is going to multiply to 170 divided by 60. So we should get 70.55 degrees. So where the angle is, the emperor is looking at, he's going to look at somewhere around 70.55 degrees. If you wanted it to be a rounded answer, move it and change it to 71 degrees, because your teacher wants things to be rounded to make the grading more simpler. If you ever wonder where we came up with this problem, there's an actual Chinese emperor that had a story where during the Jin dynasty, his name is Emperor Hui. Hui was a very unstable person, a very unstable ruler. He wasn't crazy, but he was mentally ill, and he had a disabled brain. The thing is, one time he went outside as a teenager and saw croaking frogs, and he once asked the officials, do the frogs croak because the government forces them to, or do the frogs croak because they want to croak? So that's where we got the idea from. And that explains how we understand trigonometry word problems. So the only difference with this one with the other video is just understanding what the problem is, understanding how to make the picture, and also understanding that you can do the math the same way as if you weren't using word problems, but just problems that look like these that are given to you. Thank you for watching Top Opinion Math Industry. Like and subscribe.